to another Unscripted Moments Live. We're just warming up, getting the lights right, coffee poured, and the chat rolling. When the timer hits 0, we'll dive in. Until then, hang out with us. Don't be shy. Say hey in the chat. Tell us where you're watching from. Got questions or thoughts? Drop them in the chat. This is all about real conversations alive and unfiltered. We talk tech, life, and everything in between, completely unscripted. Heads up, these lives can run long, but they're packed with nuggets of good stuff. We keep them uncut, and we add tons of chapter markers later. Scrub through, jump ahead, or rewind. Jump to what interests you, no wrong way to watch. These lives aren't as regular as we'd like, so if you don't want to miss the next one, hit that subscribe button.
Work for you and me. Unbox, upgrade, let's explore. What's the future got in store? From daily hacks to what ifs too. I break it down so it works for you. Tech should help, not get in the way. So let's keep it smart, make the most of your day. No gatekeeping, just straight up fun. Press play, join in, we've only begun. Tech tonight. Bringing tech to life, now you're in the know. Not just specs, it's how we live. From the tools we use to the tips we give. Live streams, deep dives, breaking it down. From set to screen, tech's all around. Apple gadgets, all things new. If it's worth your time, I'll test it for you. Life with Tech Nation is tech for real life. No hype, no fluff, just what feels right. Insights to see, making tech work for you and me. Unbox, upgrade, let's explore. What's the future got in store? From daily hacks to what ifs too. I break it down so it works for you. Tech should help, not get in the way. So let's keep it smart, make the most of your day. No gatekeeping, just straight up fun. Press play, join in, we've only begun. Tech tonight. Bringing tech to life, now you're in the know. Not just specs, it's how we live. From the tools we use to the tips we give. Live streams, deep dives, breaking it down. From set to screen, tech's all around. you. Life with Tech Nation is tech for real life. No hype, no fluff, just what feels right. Tips, tricks, insights to see, making tech work for you and me. Unbox, upgrade, let's explore. What's the future got in store? From daily hacks to what ifs too. I break it down so it works for you. Tech should help, not get in the way. So let's keep it smart, make the most of your day. No gatekeeping, just straight up fun. Press play, join in, we've only begun. Tune in, chat live, stay up to speed. One click away, that's all you need. LifeWithTech Nation, it's tech made bright. So let's explore the world of tech tonight. Tap in, power up, let's go. Bringing tech to life, now you're in the know. Not just specs, it's how we live. From the tools we use to the tips we give. Live streams, deep dives, breaking it down. From set to screen, tech's all around. Apple gadgets, all things new. If it's worth your time, I'll test it for you. Life with Tech Nation is tech for real life. No hype, no fluff, just what feels right. Tips, tricks, insights to see, making tech work for you and me. Unbox, upgrade, let's explore. What's the future got in store? From daily hacks to what ifs too. I break it down so it works for you. Tech should help, not get in the way. So let's keep it smart, make the most of your day. No gatekeeping, just straight up fun. Press play, join in, we've only begun. Tune in, chat live, stay up to speed. One click away, that's all you need. LifeWithTech Nation, it's tech made bright. So let's explore the world of tech tonight. Tap in, power up, let's go. Bringing tech to life, now you're in the know. Not just specs, it's how we live. From the tools we use to the tips we give. Live streams, deep dives, breaking it down. From set to screen, tech's all around. Apple gadgets, all things new. If it's worth your time, I'll test it for you. Life with Tech Nation is tech for real life. No hype, no fluff, just what feels right. Tips, tricks, insights to see, making tech work for you and me. Unbox, upgrade, let's explore. What's the future got in store? From day down so it works for you. Tech should help, not get in the way. So let's keep it smart, make the most of your day. No gatekeeping, just straight up fun. Press play, join in, we've only begun. Tune in, chat live, stay up to speed. One click away, that's all you need. LifeWithTech Nation, it's tech made bright. So let's explore the world of tech tonight.
Hey guys, how's it going? All right, we're going to do a little live here and answer a bunch of questions that people have been asking. Throw your questions down in the comments there and we will get to them. So first, let's head over to the other desk and actually put our glasses on and go from there. All right, guys, so we are here live. Again, this is an unedited live, guys. We'll throw some chapter markers in the comments after. This way you guys can hop around and get to what you need at your pace, right? Okay, so we don't really need these clear Oakleys. Let's put these on the side here. So again, we've done an unboxing. We're not going to do an unboxing here. Check out that other video if that's something you're into. So, but I did just want to start by putting this stuff on, right? So we have our band here. Again, just like we mentioned in our unboxing. So there's this lever here that clicks flat and pops open in order to pull on this. So again, like I mentioned in the other thing, there's this little silver part needs to be facing your body. So just slip it over your hand. Again, it needs to be higher than your wrist. It doesn't need to be super tight, and I'm still trying to find that perfect where it works and where it don't. And here is probably, to me, one of the nicest thought out things they've done is this case. So let's open up the case here. I keep my cloth in there as well. I think that was a little tip I threw on social media not too long ago. His glasses, let's put the glasses on. They turn on, I see the little light. I'm gonna put my cloth back in here. This is kind of how I do it. I just lay it in there, flip down the sides, flip this down, and then roll it. And boom, that's done. So I just hear the boop, the beeping in the glasses saying it's connecting. In the middle of my screen, I do see a little clock, and then there's an icon that has a slash through it. That icon is the connection. So sometimes it takes a couple of seconds for the band to connect. I've noticed this, and this is one of those little frustrations, which is why I wanted to try to do some of these things live and see if we could get that. So like right now, I'm trying to click and it's not working. And as you can see, I just had everything laid out. My band was not charged, and I think that's the key. If it was charged, if it was charging and you disconnected it and put it on, it would be on. But the idea is I don't think it's on right now, which is why it didn't pair. So hold that button. There's a button on this side that's closest to you. Hold that button. I'm holding it down and I feel a buzz and there's a little light that turned on there. So in a moment, this should start working. Again, I want to do this live to show you the little frustrations. Didn't connect. So at this point, I usually jump to my phone and go from there. But my phone's at my other desk. Let me grab my phone. So at this point, I usually will jump into the app itself, and of course it goes right to their AI stuff. We want to go to the glasses on the bottom. And the first thing I would do is check this display up here. So the display is your glasses, right? This is your devices on this first row. Let me see if I could zoom in a little more here, guys. Oh, didn't want to zoom in on that one. I still don't know if you're going to see that good over here, but I'll show you when we're at the other computer as well. So you could swipe left and right. Now, you could see that this band over here now says connected over here. If you look prior, it would have said it wasn't connected. So now it's actually connected. I could see in my display on the glasses that it's there. I see the Ask Meta AI logo. So with that said, again, sometimes it don't connect. So press that button, make sure it's on, and make sure it says connected in here. I honestly still don't know for sure. Like, I press the button and turn it on, and sometimes it takes a little while, or maybe it's just opening the app, kicks it into gear, and gets it to connect. Still these little things, right? What's a bug? What's intentional? And how does it work is the questions. But yeah, we're gonna dive into some questions here. Let's jump back over to the other desk. I just wanted to put these on with you guys. Showed you that quick frustration and experience there. And yeah, let's jump back over to the desk. All right, guys, so we're back over here. So, how should we work this? Sorry, this wasn't all thought out. It's something people keep asking me questions and what do I think? And I've done a few videos, but each video brings more and more questions. So I wanted to give everybody a chance to jump in on a live, ask some questions live. I wish I could do this a little more regularly, but with work and everything, it makes it a little hard to schedule and get in here. Even this one was only scheduled 2 days out. And in a perfect world, I would like to get everyone in earlier than that. Hey, Vibe, go ahead, ask your question. Shoot. I think there is about a 5-second delay from when the chat comes in to when I actually see it. So just know that, hang tight. Okay, so the Vibe is asking, does the screen disrupt your view? So this is one of the things that really bugs me, and I've seen other people suggest that it's very good. So it could be my eyes. I think I have 20/20 vision, but I don't know for sure. And sorry, I have multiple screens and I'm looking at chats and stuff over here. So since it's only in one eye, it is more transparent than I would like. And my analogy that I've been telling people is it's almost like looking at something on your glasses that have a smudge on it. It's just not as sharp as they make it seem in the photos and in the videos. With that said, it is a color display. It is there. It is almost on your center of your view, but a little down to your right. So it's not perfectly center. It's a little bit to your right, a little lower. So it doesn't disrupt your view that much. And it also, it's a matter of how bright you have it. That's another thing that bugs me. It seems like every time I put it on, it adjusts the brightness when I want to set it and just leave it at certain brightness. Most of the time, it's lower than I would like, which to your point, Vibe, it's more transparent and it doesn't get in the way. But when you're looking at things that are backlit, so like right now, I'm staring at my screen. It totally gets washed away and I don't see it because I'm looking at the screen. So it's something to know, like if you're looking at a TV and watching a show and that's in the middle of your TV, it's more likely than not going to get totally washed away. It's this one eye thing. I have heard that they're already making a dual display version for next year. So if you're really not on board with jumping in with this now, next year would probably be the time to do it, or when Apple drops theirs or Google drops theirs. Lionel, are you able to use maps with directions on your display? Lionel, yes. So you say maps. So Apple Maps? No, right? I never even knew that Facebook had a Maps app. So you're actually using Facebook's maps. So the question is, how good are their maps compared to Apple Maps or even Google Maps for that matter? And one of the things I didn't realize when I started using it, it only works if you're walking. So if you're driving your car, it doesn't work. You start going too fast and it just kind of turns off. It's only made for walking directions. And I can understand that, but yeah. Yeah, so meta maps, exactly. I didn't even know it was a thing until these glasses came out. So it is pretty nice that you have it on the screen and, less that you have to take out your phone. It's just a question on how good is it. I used it a handful of times and it worked pretty well when I was out of the state working on other jobs. I live in LA and I just did a music video out for Netflix out in New York. I'm originally from New York, not like I needed directions, but because I wanted to test it, I tried it. And it worked pretty well. But what's still frustrating is the AI, Meta's AI, and the fact that you're limited to that. That could lead right into Meta Maps. Like if you wanted to find a coffee shop, how good is it to ask it, the coffee shop, to find it? You can't use it. Interesting. Are you in the States or are you somewhere else? And do you have your glasses set to the United States? I know some people will change what country they're in because they want to use another voice that's not here in America or not, in London or whatnot. And they switch it, and those are the limitations of switching it. So maybe double check that the country is in the right area. Yeah, I mean you're in Dallas, absolutely. But are you using one of those? Voices that is in America, or maybe you're using the British one, so you have it set to the UK, so now it's not available here. I personally, I've been in LA, San Francisco, New York. I want to say I haven't been to any of the smaller states lately since I've had these. I've only had them for a week or so, right? I did get it right after launch, the day after launch. I managed to scoop them up by going to Best Buy. I did not have a reservation or a demo set up. I walked in, kind of convinced the guy to give me the demo and then purchased the glasses then. So that's a good question. Does the display handle brightness outdoors? Is it actually usable in the sunlight? Yes, you can make it brighter. Does it fade out early? No, I think you can see it if it's turned up. The problem is they're betting a lot on these neuro bands, right? And yes, you could do things. I'm coming from the Vision Pro. I love the Apple Vision Pro. I think it's a huge thing. It's not to compare anything, but the fact of being able to use eye tracking versus going back to this neuroband, I try to explain to people it's more like using a joystick with an old menu system, right? You have to dive into a menu system to actually get to what you want to click on. So even for brightness, you kind of have to go into this menu system a couple of clicks before you get to it to adjust it. Now you could tell Meta to change the brightness for you, and that'll probably be faster. But again, I still get very frustrated with the AI on the glasses by it not working. And it's, you know, we've been saying for a long time Siri has been like the worst AI, if you could even call it AI. I don't even really think it's AI, but it's Meta's only just a little bit above that. And then you have everything else that's like, you know, hands above it. With my Oakley glasses, I got so frustrated that I created a shortcut to open up ChatGPT so that I could use the glasses while I was driving. I like interacting with AI on the conversational level to find stuff out, and doing that while driving is nice. But this AI can't handle it. It really don't. So yeah, it's a hard sell for me to sell it to other people, knowing the limitations right now. This neuroband, I mean, again, the fact that it doesn't sit at the wrist, I feel like over time, unless I have it really tight, over time it just starts going down, right? And then it's on your wrist and it doesn't work, and then you're pushing it back up. You're trying to make this thing tight past your wrist, and then you end up having little indents around it. It's not something I'm too crazy about. I don't know, but I understand not having so much tech in your glasses, and you know, we're not having that eye tracking to actually click on specific things. But to me, even if they got rid of this and had awesome next level AI in the glasses, that would make AI glasses awesome. Always on AI in your glasses that are at a conversational level like ChatGPT or Gemini, that could do things instantly. Even if they put onboard LLMs. That is a very good question, and something I've been talking a lot with other people about lately, Vibe. Yes, I do think Apple will blow it out of the water. Just recently with their new iPhones, you know, they created that iPhone Air, and they moved all their tech into that little bump. I have friends that bug me that I call it a bump and not the real name. I've always called it a bump. I'll continue to call it a bump. But the fact that they were able to get all that technology into this little space, I mean, even the Pro here, the fact that everything's inside this bump, this is just battery. There's nothing here anymore. Everything's in that bump. So again, you know, even on the Pro, half of this is camera. So, I mean, into that half, like, that's a lot of tech. So to take that tech and put that into glasses, seems like Apple's almost there already, if they want to go that far. But even if they didn't, they just, you know, they've worked on this routing thing a bit in the cloud, right? We were going to see this when they dropped AI, like they would do local LLMs, and then for stuff it can't do, it'll push it out to the cloud. Why can't they do that with glasses, right? They put small model LLMs in the glasses that could do basic things, and anything harder, it'll push out. it would make everything a lot faster. It's like, yes, I think, the pinching and manipulating the screen for the next version of AR glasses is great. But I think AI glasses with displays, they haven't done AI glasses right yet, in my opinion. Because I think if they do it right, it'd be great. I also use a lot of things like I've tried like the B AI pendant and the pendant and some of these other transcription devices that are always listening, that transcribe your day. At first, I was a little skeptical about them, but they work great. And it's one of those like, man, I hate to think about our privacy going, but the usefulness outweighs it hands down. And I thought it was going to be a big thing. Actually, B was just purchased by Amazon, so I'm sure they're going to roll that. The nice thing about B is it doesn't save voice recordings. It actually transcribes it live, so you don't have any of that real security things with voice recordings that you get. And then it gives you your summarizations of the day and meetings and all that. But the thought of not having to remember anything all day or take notes because you could recall it just by asking. Like, I want that built into the glasses. I want always on AI that's always listening. I know it's a security thing, but I've seen the usefulness. Even if Apple does it and makes it local in the glasses, and nothing goes out, right? Keep it local LLMs, do the transcribing locally. Yes, you could pass it to your phone if you want to save it, but give me that translations of the whole day with summaries of your meetings and who you talk to, with a conversational AI in the glasses. Sure, you could throw a display on there and give me some notifications, because I think that'll be awesome with iOS. Once Apple does theirs, it'll be able to link into the whole notifications of the whole phone, and you could get everything, and it's more useful. Again, if it's just notifications, with a basic HUD, I think that'd be fine for AI glasses. But I think they're jumping. Meta is passing the whole AI thing, and they're trying to get to AR faster. And this is just like testing grounds to get to the AR faster. And they're skipping the whole AI glasses thing. So back to these glasses. They're pretty light. I thought they would be heavier. No, keep asking questions, Vibe. It's all good. That's why we're here. Let's see. Okay, so this is actually an interesting question about the Waveguide. I am not going to chime in here because it's a lot of tech that I don't know personally, and I don't want to say it wrongly. But iFixit did a video like 24 hours ago, a day or two ago. And in that video, yes, they do the breakdown, but they actually get to a part in there where they talk about the Waveguide and the technology they're using with the projecting the light and how it's bouncing. They did a very good job of explaining it, and rather me explain it and Chance explaining it wrong, I would point you to that, and let me see if I could find that, because I did just send it to somebody not too long ago. So they do a really good job, and they talk about like this is technologies from the 1990s, and stuff like that. iFixit. Oh, let me just look online. So I think I even added it to my watch later. Okay. So let's do this. Let's jump to screen share. Perfect. Thank you. I wasn't ready for this scene. But yeah, what I was saying, I put the link in the channel. Thanks, Vibe, for letting me know that you couldn't hear me. So right around this 5-minute, 30-second mark, he goes into explaining the light engine, how the light comes in from the projector and bounces around. I think it's he explained this very, very well. Look, see, it's at 90, it's at hard to display. I just probably will kill it trying to explain it, but he did a very good job. So I would suggest checking that out. Again, yeah, the different types of bends and everything from those reflections. I think what Meta did in these glasses, that is pretty innovative, making this piece of glass. So if I thought they spent money on anything, it was probably money on the R&D for this part, right? But again, it's a technology that's kind of old, just I guess used in a newer way. But yeah, I would definitely check out this video. It does explain a lot. And again, I don't want to get a takedown notice, but you can see here when they're talking about the refractions, and how the light goes from there. I'm trying not to say too much because I don't want to say something that's not true. You know, the biggest thing I see people too asking about is about prescription lenses. You know, I also don't like the fact that I can't replace these lenses and put ones that are darker. The transitions are decent, but again, they don't get as dark as you would like them to get. But, you know, living in LA in Southern California, I don't find myself squinting outside. So I think they're enough. It's just for people that are used to sunglasses and want things darker, they don't get dark enough. So yeah, definitely good video here, and I appreciate what they did. I'll also put the link in the comments later, not just in the chat. But is it worth $800? I don't know. You know, I did not have the first gen Metas. I skipped them. I didn't know what the hype was. I got the Oakleys when they first came out on launch day, and that was my first into it. And I was impressed. Well, not impressed, but the potential that I saw was there was a lot. And I'm like, oh, this is a thing. This is why it's getting so many people. Metas did a very decent job at getting the look and these, Ray-Ban companies, Oakley, like everyone on board so the look is good. I get that because they're trying to make it mainstream for everybody. But I don't know if they're pushing the software that hard, and they're very inconsistent. I understand bugs, I understand pushing stuff down, but just like these glasses, one of the big things with these glasses is, let me jump back to, I'll go solo for now. One of the big things that makes me question this, so I went from the Oakleys to these. And that being said, I have a pair of, I can't even point right. I have a pair of Oakleys back there. I ordered the clear ones, and they finally got here after being pushed back, and I returned my older ones. But I haven't opened that Oakleys yet because I don't know if they want to return them yet. I'm going back and forth. Now, I can't record in 3K with these. I could take pictures at 3K, but you can't record in 3K. I thought it was a bug out the box. And then I went to Meta's website. I guess let's do that. Scroll down, display, learn more. And I was a little upset on this. Learn more. If I come down to here and go down to, I'm looking for specs, which I think is at the bottom. Here you go, specs. And come into specs, there's a section that talks about the camera. So, the Oakleys can record video at this resolution, right? It's a 3K resolution. Again, it's vertical. That's a whole nother topic. I wish, we could do 16:9. I don't understand this, but it being 4K means that I could crop in to a 1080 16:9 shot. Not that I feel like I really do that, but if I wanted to, it's there. But when I bought these, I figured they're going to be everything the Gen 2 and Oakleys are going to be, just with extra stuff, right? So when I got these glasses and I made my video recording, and lo and behold, it wasn't recording at the same resolution as you're getting with the Oakleys. I'm like, oh, that must be a bug. And then one day I was just over here and I look at this. Video is only 1440 but in 1920. So yeah, it's still not the 3K we had with the Oakleys and the Gen 2s. So why are they limiting it in these glasses? And again, I would think if it was a bug if they didn't have it in the specs already. So yes, there's a digital zoom. So when you pull up the, and I'll jump back to the comments here and add vibes comment. So yeah, so when you pull up to take a picture or a video, you actually have a HUD, right, in the middle of your screen. And you could see it on the bottom right, there's the record button. If you pinch and spin, you get the zoom. So again, this goes back to, are they limiting the 3K to this 1920 video resolution because when you're zooming in, they don't want it to look so chopped. So they gave us a zoom function and took away the higher resolution so that you wouldn't see how junky it looks if you zoomed in to it when it was 3K. So that's my assumption, but I don't even know. To be honest, I don't have my Oakleys anymore. I don't know. Do you have a zoom function in the latest software on the Oakleys or the Gen 2? Let me know in the comments if anyone knows that. I'm curious. Like I said, I haven't been able to go back and forth because I got rid of my old ones and I didn't want to open this box, which I still may. But I feel like if I open it, I'm going to be like, oh, these clear Oakleys, I like them so much, and I'm going to be torn about keeping these some more. And I kind of want to see where these go. again, what they could be is what gets me. Like, I'm again, I have the Apple Vision Pro. We have a big community over there. We got like 30, 40 people, well, 30 people in messages chat. There's also an app on there, InSpace. Check it out if you have a Vision Pro. It's where a lot of us all meet up and talk and then branch off from there. But yeah, it's a hard sell, very inconsistent. Other things too, like my Meta's this little button up here that you can click and take a picture. Like on my Oakleys, I take more videos than I do pictures. So there's an option to flip that. So for one click, it takes video, and a click and hold, it takes a photo. I have my Oakley set to that. That option is not here in these glasses. Again, like, why wouldn't they be in the glasses? Isn't that just something software side? So it's this, them adding live streaming and then taking live streaming away. A big part with these companies is communication. Like, you have a blog, right? I'm pretty sure they just released, I think if you go to, let me try to find it here. Like, it should be easy for me to find it, right? But I'm going to have to go to a bookmark to find it. And that could just totally be on me. But again, why is it tough? Let's jump back to my screen again. So they have a community forums here at communityforums.meta.com. I think this only went up a couple of days ago, and there's not much on here. But I would like to see Meta using this more to let us know. I think there's a whole... let me go back to the top of... of course, AI glasses. And in here, there's an announcements. I would love to see them use announcements more. I mean, there's two things. There's not even enough to scroll in here. Let us know what's going on, what you're testing, what the new features are. Let us know what's going on. Communication is huge. Vibe. Do you think Apple will continue to make VR headsets, or will they fully switch out? No, hands down, they are in the game with the Apple Vision Pro. That's not it at all. I know a lot of people on enterprise, and so right now I feel like the Vision Pro is more enterprise, business to business. There's a lot of people building internal applications in medicine, in healthcare, in CAD. Like they're building their own applications for this corporate enterprise environments. That's the big push right now. I know a lot of people doing this personally that I talk to on a daily basis. With that said, until it goes mainstream, it's never going to get where most people think it should be, right? So until the price comes down, it's going to be tough to get other people in this. $3,500 is not cheap, right? I mean, there's talk of an spec bumped version coming out this month, or at least an announcement for it this month. I'm thinking it'll be before Christmas. We have them in our hands. And the question, even between all of us that are there, are we buying it? And 80% of the people say probably not, unless they do a trade-in value for the old ones. And I'm really at that point as well. I don't know, especially for something that's just a spec bump. I don't think many people are going to jump on that bandwagon. The main thing with the Vision Pro, if you have not used it, is the FaceTime Personas. Everyone asks, what's the one big app? FaceTime Personas is hands down the biggest thing. It looks so natural that you forget that it's not real after 30 seconds. You get all the facial expressions, everything that, the little lines on the face when you're talking, when you're smiling, the expressions and emotions come through on this thing that's not real. And that's what sets it apart. A lot of the big YouTubers and everything missed out on their reviews early on because it wasn't part of the initial drop. It didn't come until a month later. So a lot of people returned them by then. And another big thing is you have to know people that have the Vision Pro. Most of us don't know anyone in real life that have one. Maybe one person. So FaceTime, you need to know somebody in order to make a call and connect with them and experience that, right? Now you could watch movies together in Disney or Apple TV. You could sit in an environment, again, that persona where you're actually talking to someone and could feel their emotion while they're laughing and everything, and watching this movie with you is huge. And then from another standpoint of being able to have a call and see things together and work on things together. One of the examples, they have an app, right, that you could pull the race car up and you could view the race car, and then you could take the race car apart piece by piece. So for people that are working in CAD and everything, to be able to share a CAD file and look at that together and make comments and point, and it's a huge thing. And that's why it's more enterprise, business to business right now, in my opinion. Because there's not enough people using it to make smaller development worth it, right? For me to turn around and make an app that does this really cool thing, there's not many people that are going to buy it, right? Because it's not like the iPhone where there's millions of people that have these. There's only so much you can make, and there's a lot of developers on there making stuff with the hope that it will come later. But Apple did it the right way. They kind of took all the technology and threw it in here. They didn't hold back, right? So yes, it's going to be expensive, but let's give them everything and see what they could do with it, right? And I feel that's what they did. Rather than making a product that puts you inside of a box that you can only do so much, because you're trying to keep the price down. Let's just throw everything at them and let's see what they do with it. And then maybe we'll peel back the onion later, right? Which I think is what this cheaper Vision Pro is going to be. So I still don't understand a $3,500 glasses. Let's say to make a cheaper version, it has to be $1,000 less. So $2,500, $2,000. I don't understand how they get to that point. Like, I feel like they're going to have to take away some crucial things that make the Vision Pro a Vision Pro, right? The screens are awesome. I can't see them downgrading the screens, right? It sets them apart. The eye tracking, the cameras, they're all needed to do what I don't understand where they shave $1,000 off. And I'm interested to see this. Yes, if they mass produce and they sell a lot of these, they could bring some price down. But will it be $1,000? I don't know. For most people with a smartphone, do you think people actually want information in their vision all the time, or will they display it? Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I mean, how many times do you pull out your phone to look at notifications? Right, for my mom and sister, I thought the Apple Watch was an awesome thing, right? Because when they're on the train, they don't have to pull out their phone out of their pocketbooks to see who's texting them, or on a bus, right? They could look at their wrist. So now, if you're comparing an Apple Watch to glasses, that's, that's a good thing. If you already have an Apple Watch and you have notifications on your wrist, do you really need it in your peripheral vision? That's a good question. But again, if they had this always on AI, again, I guess it could be one of those, like maybe they just build it into Vision Pro, the AirPods Pros. They're now doing the live translations in them, right? And maybe they, Siri just speaks to you for the AI stuff. But I do find, so that brings up another thing that I'll point out. The speakers in these Metas, a lot of people, and again, don't take this all like, oh, Tom's giving you all the doom and gloom about these Meta glasses. They're good. But I also feel like a lot of people aren't speaking to the frustrations or what's wrong with them. They're just highlighting what's good. And I've heard a lot of people say these speakers are amazing. I don't know what they're comparing them to be honest. I don't consider myself an audiophile, but I feel like I used to consider myself an audiophile years and years ago, but now I don't. But my Apple AirPods sound like they're amazing for what most people want. Even the new AirPod Pro 3s, which is what these are, I just upgraded not too long ago, they sound amazing. And going to something like this, there's no comparison. It really isn't. But again, you're comparing open ear to closed ear. And I get that. But here's the thing. My Apple Vision Pro over there has open ear also. And they sound just as good as these. They don't sound like junky, I don't want to make a crack on Android, but I don't think they sound like junky Android AirPods from some third-party company. It can be done, and this is why I keep saying the Apple has everything they need to make an AI pair of glasses right now, and an AR pair of glasses maybe in another year or so. But there is talk about Apple coming out with AI glasses in 2026 and AR glasses in 27. But that's talk and hearsay, we'll see. But they have everything. Apple's never first to a market, right? They usually look at a market, see a problem, and solve the problem, then come to market. And that's exactly what this is. It's exactly what this is. There's a market there. Look how many people bought the Meta glasses. And look at the stuff they're doing. Well, let's not even say what they're doing wrong, right? They didn't put the amount of R&D into the technology that goes into something like this, like Apple has. Apple just has years and years of that R&D that they don't have. And that's going to make all the difference. Again, like one of the big things about the Vision Pro is the spatial audio. Again, we were talking about the FaceTime Personas. One of the nice things with it is with the spatial audio, those people, when they walk around you or walk in the room, sound like they're in that part of the room while they're moving in real time. I'm not talking like, 3-second delay or anything. They're there in real time where they are. And when you have multiple people, they're where they're supposed to be. So your head looks at where your ears think they are, and that's where they are. And I think Apple, they're a very secretive company. They worked on the Vision Pro for 10 years. And we saw bits and pieces of all these things coming out. We're like, why do we need spatial audio for our Apple TV? This music coming out sounds good. It sounds almost like 5.1, but they're calling it spatial. Like, why? We saw all these little things, and they were all building up to what they had envisioned, which was the Vision Pro, right? This was all the tech and R&D that they've been working on in one device for 10 years, right? That was their end goal. And they just put out bits and pieces for R&D, right? So they could learn, polish, and get things working better without us knowing. And all that tech is wrapped into the Vision Pro. When you first got it and first played with it, it was like, all this stuff makes sense now. Yeah, so will Apple crush them? I think they will if they don't wait too long. I don't know. It could even be said, even if they wait too long, do they really have to rush? They have an ecosystem. Meta does not. I mean, as much as you argue the metaverse being their ecosystem, no one, I don't know. I'm not going to rag on Facebook, but how many people do you know who use Facebook and say they love Facebook? I don't, and I feel like most of the people that use Meta glasses are using it not for the AI, they're using it for photography and video, right? And who has that locked down? YouTube, Google, right? So a Google Glass is coming out, I think will crush them overnight because of their ecosystem. Now, there's some other players in this market right now that are doing good things. They're not focusing on software. They're focusing only on hardware. How do we make the best pair of glasses? We'll let you use any AI you want on any platform you want. We're just going to make the hardware, and that's it. And those are the ones to watch out for too. But, again, I feel like an Apple fanboy here, but Apple having control over hardware and software and the integrations, again, like I want AI glasses that last all day. Like this case was the most innovative thing, I think. And come on, it's an origami case. It's cool, but come on. The fact that you need to sell one of these with one of these says a lot, right? I want to just be able to plug these in at night. Why can't they last all day? And you're gonna put a screen on this, and again, I'm ragging here again. I'm venting a bit, but you haven't solved that problem. But you're putting screens and stuff that's going to use more battery, and make me have to use this more. I don't know. And now you have putting something on my wrist that I'm gonna have to charge every night as well. I don't know. Conversational focus. Yeah, it works pretty good. And I think it is just microphones and where they're pointing at. Like there's multiple microphones on the glasses. I think they're choosing one that is just face forward, and whatever audio is coming from that direction is what it's doing. Or maybe it's also using side mics to know what not to pick up. Right? So maybe it's minusing what you're hearing from the right side and the left side, and what's in the center is what it's going to focus on. So it's canceling those out like noise cancellation does. That would be my take on it. I don't know for sure. Works pretty good though. But again, you want to read something. And again, my pet peeve too is this notification screen to me isn't sharp enough. Again, to me, it looks like, someone has a fingerprint on the screen. And then if you turn the brightness up, it gets to a point when there's too much brightness where you get the kind of like a blooming effect from the sides and everything. So you end up, you turn it back down and you try to get this medium, but then, yeah. And then text, again, if I'm looking towards the light, it may be harder to read, something that's backlit. So how practical is it? I don't know. If I have it in the second lens, if the second lens, will it be sharper? That's my hope. Why they just did one lens now? I don't know. Is it a battery thing again? Everything goes back to battery, right? But I still don't feel like it's sharp enough. And I could totally be like, it's my vision. I don't know, but I only know one other person in real life that actually has one, which is a member of my Vision Pro community, and he's kind of fine with it. So I don't know. It makes me second guess my vision a little bit. Is it just me? I read everything from far away fine, and everything close up fine. I do go to a vision doctor like once a year or whatnot, and I haven't needed glasses, but it makes me question if other people are doing it, or are they just saying that because it's something cool right now. But yeah, I'm going to take a peek at some of the questions. Let's do this. This is just ChatGPT update with latest questions. I asked ChatGPT to just search all social networks and find the top questions people were asking, and I was going to go through this if and when we didn't have too many people in the comments. So let's see some of these. Hey, why is Hey Meta not triggering AI, or say I can't do something with your glasses? Yeah, so I get this a lot. This first question right here, I'll highlight it. This first question right here, why is Hey Meta not triggering AI, or says I can't do something on your glasses? Here's the thing, it uses the internet, right? So if your internet is not good, it's going to come back and give you those responses. And I've also found that sometimes it's not even the internet, but it's your Bluetooth connection between your glasses and your phone. So I've done, if you've seen some of my other videos, I've done some tests with glucose monitors, with the B pendant, and I've had the original Oakleys all at the same time. And what I found was stuff like the B that's constantly using the Bluetooth to do the live translations, and then glucose monitors. I don't need one. I just wanted to learn about how sugar affects your body, and not just sugar, stress. So one of the key things I found out, and you could check that video out if you want, was that if you're stressed out, your body goes into fight or flight mode. And when it goes into that mode, your sugar spikes. And that was one of the things I could track and see and learn from that monitor. So stress definitely does affect sugar in your body and your glucose. With that said, these things use Bluetooth live. And I've noticed this question a lot more when I had all those things. So I would suggest people to see what other Bluetooth devices they're using, and if it's something that's constantly checking. Like, is it something that's checking every minute? Is it something that's using a large amount of data? The things I wasn't, right? Glucose monitor's a little text file. The pendant, maybe that uses more than I thought it would, but I don't know. And then if that's good, it's your internet. So that's the other thing. So if we had local LLMs, you could get answers to a lot of basic stuff right away, right? Quicker, faster. And again, like, Apple's whole thing, if it's something they can't do, then let it go out. It could be something like that for glasses, or for any wearable, I would think. Let's go down this list. The next one are firmware updates breaking functionality. Here's the thing. Is it breaking functionality? Well, do we see it as a bug or as intended, right? If something is removed, I would assume that it was intended. Did they remove it because they're seeing issues and bugs on their side? And they need to update or, rewrite something? That could be. But with lack of communication, we never know, right? So kind of like if you bought the Meta glasses because you want to live stream, and they took the live streaming away. Now you just went and sold those glasses because you have no reason for it anymore. And now they, 2 or 3 software versions later, it's added back. If Meta is not communicating what they're doing, then how do we have any confidence in them? Let us know what's going on, please. Why won't my glasses charge after a knock or just suddenly? I don't know. They're pointing out to refurbished ones. So I guess maybe these are regular Meta glasses. And I've never run into that, to be perfectly honest. They always charge when I put them in. If they didn't charge, it's because it was already full for me. What's with connectivity, Bluetooth, Meta View app failures? Lots of guilt over broken connection, pairs not sticking up. Yeah, and this is what I was seeing, those Bluetooth issues. Again, check what other devices that are using Bluetooth with, at the same time as your glasses. And it could just be the way Meta is using Bluetooth. Maybe they're being too dependent or trying to use too much of that Bluetooth pipe, which is not letting enough left for anything else that wants to run on your phone. Because all honestly, any other device I use, I never run into problems like this. But I noticed if I had those other devices off, it worked better. I got the wrong lenses, frame size. How do I return or make it right? Here's my thing, and I did a video of this over a year ago when they first came out. I buy a lot of my tech stuff through Best Buy, mainly because they have TotalTech. So these glasses, if I drop them and scratch them right now, Best Buy will replace them. I've had TVs replaced. I've had a lot of things replaced by them. You get the warranty through them. And even Apple products. You get the official Apple Care Plus with them with 2 years when you purchase something there and have TotalTech. TotalTech does cost like $100 or almost $200 a year. So it's only worth it if you buy a lot of things every year. But I guess at least one thing a year, I guess, it would make sense. But I return stuff all the time to Best Buy. Another nice thing with TotalTech is you have 60 days. So which is why my clear Oakleys are still sitting over there. And I'm, testing these. So technically, with Best Buy, I'll have 2 months to return these. So I'm kind of dragging my feet with those Oakleys because I don't know if I want to keep these yet. And I probably would if they could record the 3K. I'm really, this goes back to, number 2, firmware updates breaking functionality. I don't know. Again, was that intended? Is it a bug with something right now and they just removed it for now on? But, what's the moral of the story here? I mean, with all these big companies, it's communication. I don't know why they're always lacking it, but they're lacking it. Next question. Are supports Meta, Ray-Ban refusing to help for apps? Some complain hardware support exists, but I don't see outside of that little forum that I showed you guys, I don't see much support from Meta. When it's app and firmware, I guess you get a little support because of that, but hardware, I don't know. Again, that's why I'm prone to buy something through Best Buy because of that return policy and the repairability. I've seen don't know anybody, but I've seen articles and stuff in Reddit of people trying to return something to Meta and having to wait weeks for return labels and stuff like that. I mean, that's ridiculous. But who knows? Next one. Can I enable the look and tell media AI feature? How? So, it raises a good question to me. So I don't think oh, let me start it this way. Meta's talking to my glasses right now because I clicked something by accident. Let's say this. How can you do it? You have to tell Meta to do live AI. And whatever it's looking at, then you can ask a question. But we also go back to the question on battery life. Again, I want an always-on device. I don't want to have to tell it to turn it on. And when I turn it to tell it on, from examples of myself and other people, at least with the Oakleys I've done this, you only get about 20, 30 minutes before your battery's pretty much gone. So it's nowhere near that, right? But what I was just trying to do and check to see is if there was an actual menu on the glasses that you could actually select for that feature. And I don't think there is. If I go to camera, maybe? No, there is not a feature to do that in the display. Maybe that's something coming later. So you would actually have to use the Meta AI in order to do that. The next one, how good is the display version's waveguide? Glass or optics? What do they mean? With iFixit, people are talking about whether the display leaks light or how visible it is to other people. So, I mean, there's been tons of videos and people talking about this all the time. You can't see it anywhere on the glasses. People walking around you. There is no bleed. Let me finish this thought, Vibe, and then I'll get right back to you. So my thing with these glasses and the displays, number one, they get smudged very easy. And I don't know, the whole glasses in general, because they're this shiny material. I'll go back to solo, because they're this shiny material. So my thing is, you put these on and everything's good. But if you're looking at screens or monitors or something that's giving off some light, on the very edge here where that waveguide is, I actually see an image of stuff there that's turned sideways. So it's like right now I'm looking this way and I actually have a softbox light over here with a grid in it. And I could actually see the grid on the edge of my eye right here, right on my peripheral. And sometimes it bugs me, especially when you're moving your head a lot and the sun or some other light, you get this flash in there. And I really don't know. That bugs me a little. So my thinking is, what happens when they add one to the opposite side also? So now I'm going to have two things coming. Like, I don't know. I hope they figure that out before they go that way. Let's jump back to comments. If they did not have a display, would you say they are the same or better than the Gen 1's Meta? If you take the display out, they would pretty much be exact. The only difference I would say is photos you could record at 3K, right? I don't feel like the audio is any better. The fit, I feel like, they fit like, that's a nothing thing for me. But the AI is exactly better, exactly the same. People are saying things responded a little faster. If it is a little faster, I don't notice it. So the Gen 1s, again, I don't know. Like, if you ask me the Gen 2s, I would say the Gen 2s, again, you could take video at 3K, the photos at 3K like these. And that would be a closer mix, which is why mine's still sitting on the table over there. You know, do you need the display? That's the question. Like I said previously, if you had a really solid AI, the glasses would be game changing. Like, I wouldn't even worry about the display. Let them come later. Or some of the other glasses that are coming out don't actually have a color display like these are. They're a monotone display in dual eyes, and that's the way they're doing it. And those look solid. You know, give me something like that. Do I really need colored displays? If it's just notifications? You know, people are talking about, oh, I want to, you know, swipe. Look, this is cool. I could swipe through Instagram and Reels. Do I really need that? I mean, do I want to give up battery life for it? I don't know. You know, if it's an AI device, do I need to be looking at stuff? You know, the Maps thing is awesome, you know, but maybe a monochrome version of it. If, again, solve the battery life first. You know, why did Google Glasses die? Right? Why, again, we're trying to get to where we were years ago with Google Glass, right? Google Glasses died because battery life wasn't there, right? It could have kept going, it could have got better, and they could not solve the battery life thing. So now you're starting another pair of glasses that don't have the battery life. Like, you haven't solved that problem that other people were having. Solve that. Always on, all day. Start from there and build up. But again, that's me ranting here, guys. Sorry. Let's jump back to the comments. No, sorry, the list here. Are privacy and misuse concerns because of people reporting secret recordings? That's a good thing. So that's a good question. So there's a lot of things that have been popping up in the news all over the place now with this, people recording in bathrooms. Here's the thing. Is it anything new? People have been doing this for decades now, right? Hiding cameras in bathrooms, taking their phone, putting them, you know, under stalls and stuff. Yeah, is it a thing? I mean, you do have a light. You do have a light on these that light up when you're recording, right? I mean, I'm recording. You can see the light blinking, right? I'm gonna stop recording. And as soon as even though I use this button, I still got the pop-up for the video so I could frame. And that's one of the benefits, I think, for video recording of photos, is you could actually frame what you're recording now. But you took away my max resolution for video. Now it's only, you know, pretty much HD. And I keep saying HD even though it's a little more, because when you turn on like action cam or stabilization, it crops in, right? You lose some of that. So the reason they have it at like 1440 isn't because they're trying to give you more. It's because when it crops in, it's going to be 1080 when you're using the stabilization. So this is a concern, right, of a lot of people. And I will say, where is it? I do have the high blocks, right? They have these little dots that you put on. And I'll say out loud, for those that don't know, they do work with the displays. I've even did a little short video on these and how people were complaining they don't work, and they work perfectly fine. What's happening is they're thinking it's just a sticker on the top, but it's not. It's a sticker in plastic the plastic actually goes against the LED, and it lets in light around the sides to get to it to let it know that there's still light. It's not just a sticker, and people are peeling it off like it was just a sticker. But that being said, you know, I was using those a lot too because I didn't want people questioning, like in a dark room. Again, when you're in a dark room, it stands out a lot more. These, with my original Oakleys, stood out a lot more because the Oakleys were white. Versus, you know, these black ones, you put it on, you probably won't even notice they're there. Should you use it? Shouldn't you? I don't know. You know, that's up to you. Do they need to make some new rules about it? I mean, did they make rules about you putting your phone in your pocket when you're in the bathroom? You could be walking in with it recording already, right? For me, yeah, I'll take my glasses off, you know, and I'll go in and just, you know, do what I need to do. Or if it's a place where that it's questionable, you know, like maybe you shouldn't be recording, a courthouse or something, I'd probably put it away. But it's definitely a tough call on when to take it off. I don't take it off because I'm breaking the law, but because I don't want to go through the explanation of it's not lit up, so it's not recording right now. There's nothing to worry about. But in all honesty, the always-on devices that are recording audio breaks more laws than video recording does, right? So those should be cranked down more than recording videos. Like, you're allowed to record video of people in public places, but you're not allowed to record audio of people in public places. Did you know that? At least here in California, maybe some states vary, I don't know. But you're not, technically. So, you know, again, you know, they're worrying more about video because they're, yeah, not so much about law. Vibe. Oh, great! You bought it. You bought some from Best Buy. Thanks. Did you have TotalTech to start with? The TotalTech is what makes it. Again, the fact that if you can return it if you scratched, so it does make the difference. And it's anything over there. Like I said, I bought an 80-inch TV that died on me in about 3 months. And that was my selling point. That was the first thing I bought with it because the warranty was like $600, but I'm like, if I got the TotalTech for $200, it covers that. So it outweighed it to me. But the TV broke. They came out, they looked at it, they verified it was broke, and they gave me the new version of the TV because they didn't sell the old one anymore. And the TV was on sale at the time, and they gave it to me for the new sale price. So I ultimately got like $80 back plus a new version of my TV, and it didn't cost me anything. So I was kind of sold, and I've been telling people about it ever since. But yeah, getting like the AppleCare Plus on things, if it's something that Best Buy sells, I'll go buy it there. I'll order it to my house or whatever. I think you get free 2-day delivery, just like Amazon and all that stuff. But Best Buy doesn't have everything anymore, and I'm surprised they haven't killed this TotalTech. Actually, I don't even think it's called TotalTech anymore. That's originally what it was called. Now there's a new name for it, which I can't remember what it is. Awesome, buddy. Glad to hear you got it. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, you know, having all that. When you buy the Apple products, you get the official email saying, oh, you have Apple Care and save this and all that. But yeah, it's very cool. Supposedly they have discounts for you in some products you could buy earlier because you're a TotalTech. I've never seen any of that stuff worth it. Just the warranty and the 60 days return on things is what's golden. Let's see. Let's go back here. Give me another 5 that we haven't talked about. That is not on the list. I'll just look at some more questions. Again, I have this ChatGPT specifically looking at social media and other places like that. So, and I have it looking for the most asked questions, not just random questions. Why is this? The glasses are registered to another account, show up, and how do I fix it? That is a good question, and I do not have an answer for that. I'm assuming you bought it used from someone else, and it's locked to their account. If a factory reset doesn't fix it, that would be my first thing. Do a factory reset, not just on the glasses, but the case also. The case does have a reset as well. That's a good question. Another thing, there is the early access, Meta early access. I wanted to point this out too. The Ray-Ban's displays are not part of the early access program. So if you're coming here and putting your serial number and it's not working, that's why. I ran into this, I think a couple like last week or something. I wanted to see if there was some beta firmware that was coming out that, again, when I was running into issues. So one of the first things I ran into too with these glasses is it only, even though the menu said it could record to 3 minutes, it was only recording to 1 minute. And again, no communication. So is it a bug? Is it, I'm assuming it's a bug because the setting said 3 minutes. So that's when I was kind of looking to see if there was beta firmware and this wasn't working, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. But on the community forums, Meta pointed that out. It's not part of the early access program yet, waitlist. So you can't do that. So with that said, I thought it would be a firmware update, but 2 versions of the Meta AI update that was released fixed it. So 2 versions later, it fixed it, and now it does record to 3 minutes. So it wasn't a firmware update that fixed that, it was software. So I guess it was more waiting for Apple's App Store release. That took time. Maybe it didn't get approved before the glasses came out and they were a little behind. Could be, who knows. Yeah, so this kind of does bug me. So this next question says, does the proprietary charging case / battery degrade over time? None of us have had it that long to really know, right? But the key word in there is proprietary. There's no USB-C port on here, right? You got one charging port in between the glasses. The case does have a USB-C charging port, which is great, right? But the neuroband, no USB charging port. It uses a proprietary cable that clicks on the back of this. You could check out my unboxing video if you haven't. And that charges it. So it's another cable that you need to bring. So I get the glasses, you have the case, so you can plug the case in USB-C, but I'm still required to bring another cable with me, a proprietary one that could get lost, and how do I get a new one? You can't just run to the store and buy the cable separate, can you? If that's something I'm not aware of, please let me know. But I would have to order one from Meta online and wait for it to come. I don't know. Are these glasses sensitive to sweat and moisture problems? As I was saying, the glass itself, I feel like fog up faster than my other Oakley glasses. That being said, it's not like these are prism lenses or with special coatings or anything. Maybe they have to keep the coatings limited because of the display shining into them. But I believe they rated it, well, let's look that up. Because I don't remember. Let's go back to the spec sheet one more time. I want to see what they were rated to. They are rated for something. I just don't remember. Weight, display, audio, battery. So water resistance. So the frame is only IPX4. And the Meta neural band is IPX7. So the band is better. So I don't claim to know everything. So the IPX ratings. So 0 is none, of course. 1 is drips. 2 is tilted drips. 3 is spray. So 4 is splashes. So these glasses could take splashes, is pretty much what they're saying. And the Neuro brand could take short submersions, which is maybe why they didn't put a USB-C cable on it. Or, sorry, a jack. That could be. What's happening, Garth? Have any questions about the glasses? Can I shoot HDR, raw HDR? No. There is no HDR mode that I'm aware of. Will internal waveguide, glass optics, photo framing no. You could frame pretty good. It doesn't get in the way. How much did you pay for your glasses? My total was, to be honest, I don't even remember, but you know what? I will look up for you. Doing this live, so, I could jump to my Best Buy app. And let you know, but I already had TotalTech. So is that including your TotalTech? I'm still looking. Give me a side here. And so many things on here. So my total with tax was $876.93 through Best Buy. Thanks, early earners. Am I keeping it or returning it? That is the question. So since I bought it with Best Buy, I have 60 days to come to that conclusion. And I don't know. I want to keep them because of the potential on what they could be. But is it practical to keep them, or do I just keep my Oakleys that I have on the desk behind me? That's the dilemma. And me and the Vibe were thinking about that and going back and forth earlier about it. He just got his purchase in today, a little while ago. What's the max resolution? That's my thing. So the Oakleys, you get 3K. With these, I believe it's like 1420. Let's jump back to... Yeah, so it's 1440 by 1920. So it's still HD, right? And they make it a little more this way when they do the stabilization. It crops in, and you end up getting that HD. But the images are still 3K, just like the other cameras. So my big question before was this a bug or was it intentional? And one of the things we just learned, Mr. Earnings, is that because they have this 3 digital zoom, maybe the thought is the video is really 3K, or it's really 3K, but because they're letting you do the 3 times zoom, it's not going to get so croppy, but it's still going to output the HD video, if that makes sense. And that's, Earnings, that's my big takeaway and why I was kind of frustrated, because I didn't know that when I got it. I figured it would just be my Oakleys, or the Gen 2, which is the same as the Oakleys. It would just be everything from that, just a step more. So I really thought it was a bug out the gate, but after seeing it on the spec sheet here from Meta's site, it's clear that it was intended. But I wonder if it's because they have this 3 times zoom. They want the zoom to look good. I don't know. Honestly, I don't think the zoom does look good. It looks pixelated. I don't think I would use the zoom. I would use my feet. Sorry, just looking at some other comments here. So Vibe, you just ordered your glasses, but yet you have the demo tomorrow? That's funny. I didn't mean to be that good of a salesman. So let's jump back to, well, let's keep it going a little while longer. Let's see if there's any other questions that are out on social media that we haven't covered already. That first question doesn't make sense. That is a good question. Will they sell as good? For $800, it's probably not going to be that good. It's probably not going to sell that good. It's a hard call. It's a hard call. People coming from Ray-Bans 1, the original, going to the display, because they're going to be used to the video already, they might not know what they're missing, and they might look like, oh, the photos are so much better. So maybe it'd be a step up from them. But people who already have the Gen 2 and the Oakleys, like I was talking before, if they knocked out AI on these glasses, it would be game changing. I want always on AI that I could always speak to. They still haven't solved the problem of battery life. I want all day battery life. Why do I need this and this and this too? Like, I have 3 things I have to charge? Because you haven't overcome the first problem from Google Glasses, a decade ago, which was battery. It's a thing. Will they sell? We're hearing stories they're selling out everywhere, but it's also like 25, 26 stores across the United States that are selling them, and you need demos for. I mean, I think they're creating a buzz around it, but would the buzz be there if it was just sold everywhere? I don't know. And I don't, the one-eye display thing, I think it's just about getting them in people's hands this year, and making some money back. I think it's a money game. And next year they'll have the dual displays, and I feel like that will be a lot better. But until they nail the AI, I think that will make or break it. Yeah, I think that price point, I mean, you could get them for like $200 now, earnings. Like, it's that cheap for some of the regular Gen 1s, right? And you could buy them refurbished and stuff now, which I don't understand the refurbished. If anyone knows, let me know in the comments, because Meta glasses are not repairable. They're housed in plastic that's glued together. They're not repairable. So I don't know how there's refurbished glasses. Returns that were never used, I'm assuming, or, just returns that aren't broken. But I agree. I think AI glasses, we were talking earlier, that don't have a screen can be transformative. If you have good conversational AI like ChatGPT or Gemini on them would be awesome. Or even a local LLM, a small LLM doing an Apple thing where it could route, what to do local and what to do remotely. Always on, where you could just talk to it throughout the day. It knows what you're doing and, interact with it. Yeah, I think you're right, earnings, and I think that's the real reason. People that are into fashion and have spare money is just buying them, and I think Meta or Facebook did really good with marketing and getting the fashion side of things nailed out. Them having Ray-Bans on board, Oakley, and they have a couple of others that are coming out, which. I don't think anything's official yet, but there's a couple other big names too. But I think it's good that they locked those down, but now they're playing the catch-up game with the tech, that being. But as soon as Google comes out with AI glasses, as soon as Apple comes out with AI glasses, where are they going to be? Yeah, good point. I mean, they created lines with their marketing, right? They required demos. The big thing with Sunglass Hut is they said, screw the demos. We're just going to sell them. First one, first serve. And they were just selling them out the door. Best Buy, it was hard to even get a demo date with them. Their website's just, from day one, I looked on the first day, they didn't have any dates all the way to January. I mean, even after January, I've never seen one that actually had a date on it for Best Buy. So I thought it was a bug or them not ready for it yet. So I don't know what happened there. I walked in, and talked to the demo guy and kind of convinced him to give me a demo, and then I bought the unit right then. I did get the standard. I tried the large and the standard, so I think the sizing is a little different. versus the old Oakleys. I think they're like, I don't know, they said 2 millimeters different or something. I was going back and forth with which ones to get in the store. I kept going from the standard to the large. They had the standard with the number 3 band in stock. So that's what I walked out with. But I wasn't sure if I should go with the standard ones or the large ones. Like, I don't feel the standard looks too small, and I don't feel like the large looks too big. So I feel like they're in that weird middle ground. So I wasn't sure, and I went with the standard just because they had them in. But they did say if I wanted the large, they would mail me the large in 2 days, is what they told me. But I've heard other people taking a lot longer to get them. But that being said, with the new hinges that actually go outward a bit, they're actually made to flex. I feel like puts more pressure on your head. Like, I went with these because I felt like they added a little more pressure back here, even though they go out, than the other ones. The Oakleys felt almost a little tight, but I liked them because they wouldn't fall off. And these are the same way. I don't feel like they're going to fall off. But I wasn't too sure with the other ones because, again, it's not like I needed that much, but that was my thinking about it. But it still has me thinking like, should I trade them in for larges? The initial demand long line should not be, no, it shouldn't be interpreted at all. Yeah, nerds and geeks like us would always line up. I guess, I don't know. I didn't line up for these. And I haven't lined up for an Apple product for quite a few years. Does the average Joe care? I don't know. And one of the other guys' earnings bring up a good point. It's like, do people want notifications in their peripherals? Is that something the average Joe wants? They could pull out their phone and get notifications, right? And then I bring up a point like, a lot of people have Apple Watches. You get your notifications on your Apple Watch already. Do you really need them in your vision? So maybe just AI glasses without the displays is enough because you could just look at your wrist for a notification to see who's calling you or who's texting you, or, maybe it just giving you a beep sound so that you could check your watch to see. I mean, we go back and forth about this earnings, right? The Vision Pro. I mean, yeah, they were extremely popular at the beginning, yeah, just because everyone bought them, right? Because I think a lot of people just like, you're into the stock market, right? So you see this all the times. I think people buy based on the potential of something, right? I bought this based on the potential on what it could be. The Oakleys, the potential, I started using it and I'm like, wow, the potential of this could be great. And then you start realizing these big companies, no communication, stuff is slow to come out, Meta's putting stuff out and taking it back. So nothing is consistent or communicated. So it makes it hard to trust that company. Yeah, and that's my take on, where Meta is right now. But, we all know Facebook. Can you ever get a live Facebook person for support because your account was hacked or anything? It is tough. Let's look through a couple of more of this last set of questions that I have up here. And why can't I upload footage / photos unless I'm on Wi-Fi? You can, your glasses do connect to your phone on its own Wi-Fi, but you have to click there's a little button when you're in the app and they'll transfer over that way. Now, there's an auto import. There's an auto import, which again goes back to security, because I think the auto import pushes your photos and videos up to Meta's cloud, and then read down to your phone, so it could do it without having to connect to your phone all the time. I don't know. I turned it on at first on my Oakleys just because I turned everything on and I wanted to see how everything worked. But now I kind of have it off and I just hit the button when I'm ready to grab all the photos. Why does the arm and hinge break even? I think this is with the regular one. I think a lot of this comes to how people are taking them out of the case. Since they're the original versions, there's no real way of grabbing them and taking them out of the case without grabbing the arms, right? People are grabbing them on the arms, and the arms are making flexes on here. What I was doing is I was putting my fingers right by the nose bridge and pulling them up on the center. So this way there's no strain. So I think it's just people grabbing them from the arms in and out of those cases so much, and it's flexing and breaking at the hinge. What's the lifespan for these compared to the normal rain bed? I wouldn't know. No one's had them that long yet. Where is the early access? There is no early access for displays. We went through this a while ago. That was something I was looking for a bit. Let's jump back to comments. What's your take on the Quest Pro lineup? Do you think they will revive it? I mean, they're hiring enough people to revive it and do it right. We see them hiring and stealing people from Apple for their AI, for the glasses. They've just did that whole upgrade to their, I forget what it's called, but their environment and how to build environments, right? So, maybe. The real question is, could they catch up to where Apple Vision Pro is in terms of hardware? I don't know. All right, guys, I think we're almost at it at about almost the 2 hour mark here. I think I'm going to call it. Thank you guys for joining us, everyone in the live comments, everyone for leaving comments, leaving questions. I think we covered a lot. I will add all those chapter markers. I try not to cut, just like I said in the beginning of this video, I try not to cut down these lives. They are long, but we do go back and add chapter markers for everything so you could hop around and find what you need quickly. I don't expect anybody to watch these lives from beginning to end. Just find what you need and let us know in the comments, how are you using the Vision, your Vision Pros, your Meta glasses, your Meta display glasses. What do you guys use? Is this a technology you want or are excited about? I'm excited about the potential. There's a lot of things I want to see happen. I wish I could have more input on the direction of these types of glasses. But, all right, guys, till next time. Thanks again. See you again.